Hey guys, Vedraptor here. Today I've got some opinions on Pokemon Sword and Shield and what I personally think needs to come next. Normally Pokemon games last about a year before they reach their life expectancy. This is something you've got to keep in mind. By this stage, we'd be looking at either a new game that isn't necessarily main series, but at least it's a new game being released that can keep people entertained. This year instead we had the DLCs in Crown Tundra and Isle of Armor. They were really interesting, but at the same time, were they enough? So Crown Tundra was only released about a month ago, and already the hype is dying off so quick, it's not even funny. On Twitch, Sword and Shield have dropped from 30,000 viewers around the week that Crown Tundra was released, to now being around 3,000 viewers at a time. And in my opinion, the game needs a serious injection of life stat. This is, in my opinion, one of the most interesting times in Pokemon history. In saying that though, here's a countdown of my top 5 things I think that Game Freak should release to bring some life back into Pokemon Sword and Shield. And of course, you might disagree with me, so please let me know in the comment section what you think, because I'm really interested to hear what everyone has to say. Of course, it's unlikely that Game Freak will ever hear any of these things, but it's always fun to hypothesize, you know? So let's get into it. First up at number 5. This one's only number 5, or in 5th position, because I think it's unlikely. Even though there's been leaks, and I honestly really do hope I'm wrong, a third DLC needs to drop or at least be announced. Being realistic here, Isle of Armor barely counted as a DLC because it added in like an hour of gameplay, as well as Crown Tundra was only about 3 or 4 hours. It wasn't really long enough, despite being absolutely awesome. Now I'm a fan of all the DLCs they've released so far, but I'm also well and truly thinking that there should have been more to them. They had a lot of time to plan, and it should have been considered. Now picture this, right? For a third DLC, there's a lot they could do. They could make it with a much bigger area, add in more Pokemon, make some new Pokemon. They could also add in an old region. And to me, I think that would be a really cool way to do it. This brings me to number 4. Diamond and Pearl remakes. Imagine this, right? They released Sinnoh through a third DLC in Sword and Shield. You can't tell me that wouldn't be amazing. It would be a first for Game Freak to do that. Obviously with the DLCs, they were a first anyway. But then releasing a whole new region into a game, that would bring back some serious Johto vibes, and at the same time bring back so much life, so much love, and so much excitement to Sword and Shield specifically. Pretty much everyone loved the Sinnoh region. Diamond, Pearl, and Platinum were amazing games with so much content. So they were just amazing. Like there's no other words for it. They were phenomenal. They were such a huge advancement in Pokemon, and they've really propelled it. The actual designs through that generation were sick. The storyline was amazing. The events were amazing. Everything was just perfect, at least in my opinion. And again, just imagine dropping a full new region through a DLC. Obviously the gyms would need to be remade or at least remastered because they'd be way too easy, because level scaling has proven in both Crown Tundra and Isle of Armor to not really work and be kind of pointless. I'm sure there's a way they could do it though, and I'd love to hear you guys' thoughts on this. So in the comment section, let me know what you think could be done about level scaling if they did release a new region. Again, this is all just hypothetical. It's not necessarily going to happen, but it's just an interesting thought. That brings me to number 3. More expeditions through Peony. How cool would that be for an in-game event? It would take me back to the OG days where you'd be like hiking up the steps to Arceus, you'd be sailing to Darkrai's Island, things like that, you know. Bring those kind of events back. Rather than just dishing out the Pokemon in the event, let the people go and catch them. Let them have a bit of style on the ball. Let them shiny hunt the legends, mythicals, things like that. It's a great way to do it. It's a really interesting way, and it's a lot more fun as well, having that customization of a mythical Pokemon. is absolutely amazing. And as well, that would add so much in terms of content for Crown Tundra too. There's so many mythical Pokemon that are yet to be released. You've got Darkrai, you've got Deoxys, Victini's released in the game, but not really as well. Like, there's a lot of Pokemon that there's just so much that could be done. And I'm really excited to see if they do implement that through Peony, because I think that'd be an awesome way to do it. This brings me to number 2. And this one, for me, being again a bit realistic here, is a bit more unlikely. It's very much so based on my opinion alone. And I'm sure that there's a lot of you that disagree. Changes need to be made to Battle Stadium. This suits people like me a lot who didn't battle before Generation 8. But you got to hear me out, alright? Every single team that you come up against in Battle Stadium, at least in doubles, will have one of these. Incineroar, Rillaboom, Therian Landorus, Glastrier, Tapu Fini, or Regieleki. Like, again, I'm guilty of using some of those Pokemon because they are just way too good. And fair enough. But at the same time, a lot of skill has been taken out by being able to bring those Pokemon. And it's been really interesting. It's been a huge learning curve for me personally, being a new trainer to ranked battles and VGC, and in particular double battles. I only started double battles a few months ago, and this has been a rude shock. I think the ban list needs to be massive for next month. It would not only bring a lot more people back into ranked, but it would also open up the potential for a lot of people to learn. And I understand it shouldn't be about learning ranked battles, but at the end of the day, Pokemon's about becoming the very best, and what's the point in having a team of legendaries and overpowered Pokemon when you could test yourself? Try something different and see how it goes. It's worth a shot, and a meta shake-up would bring a lot more challenge. It means that people wouldn't be able to just spam the overpowered Pokemon, and there would have to be a lot more thought going into team planning, which would be really, really cool. And again, I'm not saying that ranked battles currently require no skill, because they realistically require a ridiculous amount of skill. They're pretty much untouchable. Like, ranked battles are always going to be great. I have no idea what just happened there, but that was really cool to skip through that dunce pass. Now, this brings me to my last point, as we come up against Groudon. This one, again, is a bit more of a, I guess a bit more of a joke. I think it wouldn't do the Pokemon Company and Game Freak any harm to sort out a time machine to go back in time and to unannounce Pokemon Unite. Change that whole Pokemon Direct and make it about a new DLC, a new game, new Pokemon in Sword and Shield introduced as mythicals, or pretty much anything but Pokemon Unite. And I get that the Pokemon Unite bashing's getting old, everyone's done it, everyone's sick of it, but to me it's just really disappointing that the only real game announced for the near future is Pokemon Unite. Now, for me, it could have been so much more. And I get a lot of people feel the same way, and that's fair enough. But just think of it this way. Imagine if it was a mainstream or a mainline game, or even just a remake of a previous game. That would completely change how we were feeling right now. For a lot of reasons. In terms of the obvious ones, right now we don't really have much motivation, or at least I don't have much motivation with Pokemon Sword and Shield. And that kind of makes me a bit sad, to be honest with you. It's realistically a great game. They're a lot of fun. They had a few questionable features, but they've kept a lot of people entertained for a long time. And to not have a game to look forward to not have a DLC to look forward to from here, to have everything kind of a bit hush-hush, it's kind of a shame, really. I know we've already had 2 DLCs, and there was a lot of hype around them, and that was great. But right now, we're kind of sitting here thinking, what's next? What are we looking forward to here? When do we get to the point that a new game is announced and that it brings back a lot of life? It's honestly a bit scary. It's just been quite demotivating not having that excitement factor, that whole thought of soon we're going to have a new game to play. I've got to get my Pokemon prepared. I've got to get my Pokemon home stacked. I've got to be as ready as possible. I mean, my Pokemon home's already looking pretty good, but we could add so much more in there. And again, I realize with this final point, I'm essentially just reiterating everything that I've already said, but to me, it's so necessary. With no new content coming to Pokemon other than Unite in a somewhat near future, a lot of people are going to lose interest. And I get that people always come back, but why not try and maintain the interest for longer? And I get that's what they did with the DLCs, but they could have done more. They could have announced the 3rd one by now. That would have been amazing. Anyways, guys, let me know what you think of my opinions. Feel free to let me know yours. I'd love to hear them, as I've said. As always though, this has been Verdraptor. Make sure to like, subscribe, and ring the bell. That'll make sure you're notified for future content. You can also check out my Twitch. I stream almost every single day over there. The link is in the description. Same as for my Discord and all my other socials. Big love as always, and we'll see you guys soon. Peace out.